Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you, give you a little update on some of the things that are going on here at the home office. I know it's very easy to get isolated, especially since we're in this world of self distancing, which is brand new, not only to us, but I'm sure for all of you. And so I want to make sure that you understand that we're with you in spirit and in action each day. Our operations team has done a phenomenal job. I want to thank all of them here and now. They've made over 700 calls to our franchisees, to you, our owners, in the last little over a week, connecting with more than 500 franchisees during the process. So we want to make sure that you understand that we're thinking about you and that we're acting to try to give you every bit of support we possibly can during this difficult period, and that we haven't stopped. We're actually thankful, really, for the opportunity to do so because it means we can stay busy, we can stay active, we can live during this time. I think living, continuing with our lives is maybe the most important thing that all of us can do. So I want to thank each of you, because I know from those conversations that our ops team members are having that each of you is still out there on the front lines. We know you've lost some cases, and we also know there's opportunities where new cases are being picked up. Most of the cases that have been lost seem to be cases that are more non-essential, kind of discretionary cases, people that might have gotten out, might have been more mobile and functional, they've gotten out. So we've lost some of those cases. We do have other cases coming in where people are picking up new cases. Our leads seem to be holding pretty steady from last month. We'll know that for sure at the end of the month. We've seen reports where Google traffic in searching the word home care is up 25%. So that's a good news for us because our services are considered essential. And by the way, for any of you who are concerned where governors of your states may have said things like may have instituted travel bans or stay-at-home policies, our services are essential. And we do have a letter on the ark. I hope all of you have seen it in the emails that have gone out that you can print out, and all of your caregivers can carry that letter, so that if anyone would ask them why they're going anywhere or what their reason is for going, that we're providing critical services to assist our client families to continue in their own home. And so they don't have to move into institutional care. That's the main thing here. Our institutions are going to struggle during this epidemic. And our job here, part of that job is to lighten that load and that burden for those institutions. So we really do have an essential service, and thank God we have that. Thank God for each of us that we've selected a business, a profession, and a vocation that is essential to each of our client families. And for that reason, I think we're going to do fantastic going forward, even though we're certainly in for a difficult period in the short and medium term. We're in for that. But I think what we want to do is we want to see it as an opportunity. We want to see it as an opportunity, not just for our businesses, but even in our personal lives. I'm pretty certain that God's going to use this in a way for all of our good going forward, even though in the short term there's suffering. Whenever you suffer, nobody wants to go through it. Nobody wants to go through trials. Nobody asks for them. But I think when each of you think back on each of the trials you've had in your lives, and I know you've all had them, all of you can say confidently that you benefited from those trials. All of those trials added up to making you into the person that you are today. And that's going to be the same here. It's going to add up to making visiting angels better and greater than it is today, even though we may suffer loss in the meantime. And it's going to add up to making us as individuals stronger in character, building up our endurance. The Bible says endurance creates character, character creates hope, And hope will not disappoint us because God's love has been poured out into our hearts. So we depend on that hope. That hope that isn't just human hope, it's supernatural hope. And we trust that that hope won't disappoint us. So, and we're in the business of hope. Really, hope is our currency. Hope is what we've always offered to our client families. We come in where there's a deficit of hope, and we fill up that deficit. So we're in a business that's essential. We've got a great team, not just the operations team, but our total team here. Everyone's working. Not everyone is present in the office working, but those who aren't are working from home. And they're doing a fantastic job. We've added 5 new, very significant hires last week. We're not talking about low-level or entry-level positions. These are mid-level to even director-level positions. 2 new, very significant operations team directors, Lori Pruton up in Ohio, and Paul Andre down in Louisiana, with terrific backgrounds. These are great people. We're going to mean a lot to our team. So if you get a call from them, make sure to take that call. I think you're going to enjoy and get a lot out of speaking to those individuals. We had an HR director, our home office, 2 new marketing staff. I believe we're the only company in America at our size that has added 5 hires in the last week at a significant payroll cost. So we're doing our part to advance employment in a period of time where most companies will be shrinking their payroll staffs over time. I want to give a shout out to Dan Drennan, who's worked so hard to make sure that we get accurate information from a legal standpoint on the COVID-19 crisis and what it means for us as business owners. He's worked very, very hard on the phone with Littler and Mendelson law firm day and night throughout the weekend so that he can provide so much information to each of you. Jessica Shigat, who's worked so hard to help disseminate so much of that information on the ARC. And so many others that I couldn't name them all. A special shout out would be to our call center. Call center is really the front line of our company. And they're still at work right here in the office. I'm sitting in my office at the home office in Bryn Mawr, PA. I'm not at home, and a number of us are here. And all of our call center is here because they understand how important it is to be ready and available for all of your client families, for caregiver inquiries, and any other type of call that might come in. It's admittedly a difficult time. Our minds tend to strive for certainty at all times, and especially in times like this. We want to be certain about what's going to happen in our future, but life is always uncertain. So the only thing that we can maintain certainty about is about He who holds our future in His hands, and keep that certainty in mind. And we don't want to pass over. It's one thing to have concerns that are important concerns, and take the most practical precautions we possibly can. See to it that anyone who's sick stays home. Any caregiver who is ill in any way does not go out to a client family's home. All of the other universal precautions that you're hearing and reading about so much for COVID-19. So we handle those concerns, but we don't want to let those concerns turn into worry, particularly obsessive worry, because worry is really a temptation, and it's one that we can accept or reject. Whenever any temptation that we receive in any walk of life, whether it's temptations to do things we shouldn't do, or temptations to sin, any of those things, we have the choice to accept those or reject those. Worry is the same. When worry presents itself, and we can't control the thoughts that come into our minds, but when worry presents itself, we can either engage in dialogue with it, or we can refuse that and refuse to accept it. So that would be what I would recommend for each of us. That when worry presents itself, worrisome thoughts, we just don't entertain them. We just move along to other things. And in every possible way that we can, we just continue to live our lives, adhering to, every legal requirement, adhering to every edict issued by governing authorities and so forth. And if we do that, we'll come through this. And our spirits will be protected and strong, regardless of what happens to our physical bodies. So I just want to thank all of you again. I know you are just making heroic efforts out there. Thankfully, we've selected a business that everyone needs or will need at some point in time, whether they're the family member themselves or the actual care recipient who receives the care. We're so thankful to have all of you. We're so thankful to be in the position we are. We're honored to serve you. We look forward to continuing close contact with you day in and day out in the weeks to come. Don't hesitate to call anyone here, including myself, at any time that you need help from. God bless all of you, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. Make sure to stay safe with all of your family members in every way. Bye-bye now.